Hello, in this video I'm going to continue using the scripting window in Blender, and we can review the last video real quick. I need to create a new script, so I can hit new in the text editor window. I can erase the existing cube and add a new one, so that I can copy the instruction or the code for adding a new cube in the layout window. So I go ahead and right click and copy. Now in my scripting window, I need to import the BPY library, and I go ahead and paste my line of code. 3 times actually, like the last video. Now last time we created a pyramid. I'm gonna keep this video simpler than that. I'm just going to create a tower. So I just need to change the Z location to 1 and 2 so that the cubes get moved up 1 and 2 units along the Z-axis. Okay, so I'm gonna erase the existing cube so I can run my code. I go ahead and run it, and I get the 3 cubes. But we actually have a problem that I pointed out last time when building the pyramid. These cubes are overlapping. You can see that's the middle cube, and the bottom and top cubes are halfway, are actually stacked on top of each other, and the middle cube is halfway the bottom one and halfway to the top one. So a quick fix is just to double the offset values. I go ahead and do that and erase my existing shape, run my script, and that works. That creates a tower of 3 cubes stacked right on top of each other. And the reason that was happening obviously has to do with the cube size. So we can look at the size parameter of the add function, which is a 2. So the default cube in Blender has a size of 2 meters. So another way to fix it is to, we can change the size to 1. Maybe it's easier to work with a single unit. But like you just saw, I would have to do it for every single line, and then I would have to change the location as well. I can run that again just to make sure it works, which it does for smaller cubes. But there's an easier way to do this. We don't need these 3 lines of code. We can just use 1. And I am going to introduce the for loop. So I'm just gonna go ahead and type the code, and then I'll go over what it does. Okay, so this is the syntax. For I in range 3 is gonna be the number of iterations, and then I have to do tab in the next line. Okay, so I want to do the same thing that I just did when I had 3 lines of code. I want to create a tower of 3 cubes stacked on top of each other. So this I holds a value starting at 0, and it's gonna run this line 3 times. The value that it's gonna hold is gonna be the value for the Z-axis. So I go ahead and replace my Z value for the variable, which is going to have 3 values starting at 0. So let me make some notes in the layout window to explain a little bit better what the code is going to do. So starting out, the I variable, it's going to have a 0 for its value. So that's, starting here in the for loop, it's going to assign a 0 to this I value. So when it runs the first time, the location is going to be 0, 0, and 0. And that's going to create the first cube. And then it's going to run again, but this time the I value is going to go to 1. So going back to scripting, the second time this code runs, I is going to equal 1. So the location for the second cube is going to be 0, 0, 1. And then it's going to run one more time for I equals 2, meaning that it's going to add another cube, and this time with a Z location of 2. The X and Y location are going to be 0 because I did not change anything for those two. Okay, so I'm ready to run the code. I'll go ahead and erase the existing cubes and the nodes. Okay, and I can just simply do run. Okay, and yeah, as expected, it created a tower of 3 cubes. The second being offset by 1 meter, and the third one being offset by 2 meters. So yeah, this is the equivalent of 3 lines of code. And that kind of shows how the for loop can be helpful. And I can actually create any kind of tower. I can just change the value here inside the parentheses. For example, if I wanted to create a tower that's 8 cubes high, I can just change that to an 8 and run the code. And yeah, I get my tower 8 cubes tall. And if I wanted bigger cubes, for example, I can just change the size to a 2, like the default. But now the offset is gonna have to be twice that. So I can, for my range, I can do a 2 here. Just multiply the I values by 2. So we don't run into the problem that happened earlier when the cubes overlapped each other. I'm just keeping it proportional to the size of the cubes that we're using. So I'll go ahead and run the code. And we're running into that problem. So let's see. Oh, I see what happened here. So this actually ran it 16 times, but yeah, so I have 16 cubes here. So I don't want to do that. I'll go ahead and do 3 again, just to keep it simple. But the I value is the one that has to be doubled. Yeah, so the Z location has to be offset proportional to the size of the cube. So I'll go ahead and do that. And yeah, we get 3 cubes size 2 stacked right on top of each other. And yeah, I can do 8 of those like I wanted earlier, now that I fixed the problem. So I'll go ahead and run the script. and I get those 8 cubes. Okay, so yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching.